Well, hello everyone. I hope you are doing well, and I should say better than I am on this Easter day. Um, I'm trying to make the most of this, and I was trying to work through today, but I wasn't really able to get great concentration going on. This is a sad day for us in Neverwinter, for my guild mates and I, because the person who founded our guild has passed away, unfortunately, and so. Um, I can't really get my mind out of it, so I'm just gonna stream a bit. One of his favorite events in the Neverwinter game, and that is what's called the Day of the Dungeon Master, which is an Acquisitions Inc. themed event. So a lot of the lore here is actually Acquisitions Incorporated lore, and this event podium used to be kind of up here, sort of where my cursor is pointing, and the event would take place. It was before that we got this blimp that you can see in the background, which is the Acquisitions Incorporated ship, and it was interesting in a couple of different ways, but is still fairly similar to the event it always has been. And it's combined. The Acquisitions Incorporated piece was sort of combined with the introduction of, or was combined with previous events, which were these sort of tabletop events that involve things like this that look like miniatures. As you can see here, they look like a miniature you'd put down on a battle map and dice into creating these sort of fun events. And that was wrapped into this larger event involving the Acquisitions Incorporated live play, and later they added the Acquisitions Incorporated campaign itself. So there's a lot of content here. You can talk to Respin, who was involved in the original sort of Day of the Dungeon Master events, and he can tell you about what's going on here. He basically is like the dungeon master, but he is sort of a wizard, and he has created this game where you pretend with miniatures that you are heroes. And he's created these rules, and that was the concept of the original Day of the Dungeon Master. Was Respin creating this, which is sort of fun. The idea that you could have a role-playing game inside of your role-playing game. And then it was added with Portobello da Vinci, which is, if you look at it closely, that's Chris Perkins. Chris Perkins being one of the staff members, the lead sort of narrative design person at Wizards of the Coast. I forget his exact cool title. And Chris speaks as Portobello da Vinci. He does some of the voiceovers in here, and he tells you all about the Day of the Dungeon Master.
Hello, my friend. I hope you're ready to experience Portobello's campaign.
And that bad Italian accent is Chris's actual voice saying this.
When you're ready to begin, speak with Flabbergast at the Burrowdon Inn.
Flabbergast is a pretty neat character. I got to work on the Acquisitions Incorporated hardback adventure, a 5th edition adventure, and sourcebook. And I worked both on the rules and on the adventure itself. And one of the fun things was adding characters like Flabbergast to different parts of the adventure. So you can see here, there's this sort of miniature table, and this is based lore-wise on an actual real table that was built for playing a D&D adventure for one of the Penny Arcade Expo, known as PAX, one of the PAX events that took place where Acquisitions Incorporated played in front of a stage. And all the players that are part of this Acquisitions Incorporated group, which is supposed to be a sort of the idea of a McDonald's franchise. If you took a franchise like that, but you made it an adventuring group and an adventuring company that's sort of trying to make money by going out into dungeons and things like that. So that's the concept of Acquisitions Incorporated, and that group plays live in front of conventions. It fills huge crowds, come to watch it, and fills the hall. And so we get to go to this Burrowdon Inn, which is via this miniature tabletop. So when we say, yes, I'm ready, we get magically miniaturized and brought into the tabletop experience using the set that was actually used in a real game. So there's a lot of levels going on here of what's real and what's not. This is the first time I've done it this year because I've been a little busy the last few days. This has been running for about 3 days. And again, it's appeared in different years in different ways. So you see, first thing is I and my companion, we get miniature bases. So all the players look like they're miniatures that are sliding around. And you can talk to all sorts of people. These are now interns, so representing the Acquisitions Incorporated lore. And so you can come and talk and join games and things like that. But the first thing we're going to do is well, it's sort of fun to look around. You can see, so at this table are members of the Companions and members of the Neverwinter famous people who are playing the game theoretically in this tavern. So you can see, Minsk over there, and you can see Driz Duerden and Regis, who is actually my companion. So he's in two places. And that's, I forget her name, but she's a member. Well, actually, maybe that's supposed to be Cadibri. I think that is supposed to be Cadibri. So these are all members of the companion. Bruiner Battlehammer, and then Portobello Da Vinci, aka Chris Perkins, in the background. And I can come to Flabbergast, and Flabbergast has his little companion here. You can see he's a cat that wears this like Viking helmet and has a monocle, because of course.
It is I, Flabbergast, along with my cat, Mr. Snibbly. Please pay no attention to me. I'm simply here acting as an evaluator for.
And we can see here now, this is meant to be Drawn Enterprises, which is the competing organization to Acquisitions Incorporated. It's a little complicated story-wise. Flabbergast worked for both Acquisitions Incorporated and Drawn Enterprises, currently with Acquisitions Incorporated. But this event is a few years old. So I can introduce myself. And I can learn about sort of just some general things, which is the idea that as an adventure, you're being tested. Let's see if there's anything else there that I missed. No, I think that's it. So now that we have
many activities you can participate in here.
So yeah, so now what I've got, I think there should be somewhere a complete an activity. So I can just complete any one activity. So there are a number of activities, and let's just do one for fun. So we can go over to the race, for example, and join the foot race. Flabbergast foot race. So what we do here is we go over to the stands to say that we're ready to race, and there's someone else there, so that's great. And we wave. And you can see the players there. And what we're gonna do is there'll be a timer at some point when the game decides it's ready to run. And we're gonna go along this sort of death trap wooden contraption hallway to try to sort of do this sort of obstacle course and make it through without dying, which is kind of fun. So this event has, I think, done pretty well over the years in terms of being fun. Though often it's not updated sort of reward-wise, so there's been few reasons to do it. They just tried to update it a little bit so it's better, but it probably could still use some fine-tuning from previous years. But I like it. I like the idea that it's sort of this meta kind of thing where you have, you're a player, playing a role-playing video game with actual role-playing where you turned into a role-playing. It's like many levels of ridiculousness going on. So I appreciate that. Hopefully it don't keep us waiting too long here. But so while this is going on, and my dog is saying hi outside, talk a little bit about some of the other events that you'll see. So there's, maybe I can see it on the map. Yeah, I can. So I'm in the foot race area where you can run around through these 3 different races, and I think you're just randomly placed on one of them. I can also speak to some people here to do activities where you go run around and find like special dice, or you can find, I think, a type of mushroom. Then you can also go here and complete some different daily events to kind of get these points. And in the past, there was a whole campaign that was down here where you could join that campaign and progress along it. And you could get titles like being an intern for Acquisitions Incorporated. That was pretty fun. But they've removed that part of it, and now it's just sort of a general reward that you can get. We'll see. Hopefully this starts us soon. I have no idea why that takes so long to queue through this event, but maybe having more people will do it. But we only need 3. But I don't know why this is taking long. If it takes too long, we'll just leave. So yeah, there's some fun. Like there have been some fun screenshots sharing sort of like what are the different character sheets that are here. This is Tiberius Gray Mantle. It's kind of fun. You can sort of see the details of the character sheet there. What else? The burrow down in is kind of fun, like being the idea is that it's built into, you can see it over there, a purple worm that has been sort of dried and placed there. And then there are various NPCs you can talk to, and we'll go around in a bit and walk around that area. Let's see. Well, maybe this is just simply not working. So we'll just move on because that's a long wait. So let's take a look around. We can, as a miniature, sort of hop around in a fun sort of way and go to this footbridge. Ooh. Actually kind of hard to move around in this form. So one thing that's funny is you can talk to Wattler and Staldorf, who are featured in the adventure.
An adventurer. I hear if you offer them a quest, you can get them to do some pretty ridiculous things.
Think I can get him to throw a ring in a volcano?
That's pretty good. Mm-hmm.
I'm Wattler. That ugly kid over there is Staldorf. He's got a face only a mother could love. In your case, I'm not even sure a mother would have the fortitude. That's fair. You probably don't need our help getting insulted. What's insulting is us wasting.
And this is all Chris Perkins doing the voices too, which is sort of fun for folks who know about Chris Perkins.
These players just get worse every time.
Wake me when they're dead.
So yeah, so that's another fun. Here's the purple worm inn that we're going across. So we can go. See, I guess they've changed it a bit here in terms of how the activities are. I think I can just directly do one.
Think you could do some damage? Let's experience it.
Okay, attack the target dummy in the corral for as much damage as you can. So sure, why not? We'll just go in and do that. And you are attacking this dummy. I guess it's a single dart dummy. And so then you just unleash, whatever you can on it and just... In theory, this meter is supposed to go up. I guess it's already at the top. So depending on how much damage you do, then it's supposed to sort of teach you. And the idea is that a little bit, this is like a Drown Enterprises or Acquisitions Incorporated training facility. And so the idea that they would evaluate you here to see whether you're an intern. And as I said before, you used to be able to get titles, so you could become like a sub-intern and then... I forget what all the different levels are. I've got it written down somewhere. Because actually, when I wrote my first Acquisitions Incorporated adventure, which was a convention adventure I did for Wizards of the Coast, I looked at this event as a way to decide how the event should be structured and what it might do as for what Acquisitions Incorporated would do to head up interns. So I actually used this as inspiration. So we've done an event. I think we're supposed to go back and talk to, let's see what it says. Complete an event, speak to the Trial of Traps intern. We'll jump around here. And I think that's one of these folks. Yeah. All right, so this is the event queue, and I can sign up for Trial of Traps, which is one of the events. They unlock 2 events, I think, initially, and then 1 every week as you go on. So we're now in the queue system, which can take a while, depending on how well it queues us. It can be really bad sometimes. I like this. It's really fun. All these is for Neblin, who are doing push-ups here in miniature forms and jumping jacks, and being trained by this guy here. Other things you can do. It looks like I'm ready for the map. So I like that they have some dummies called Strawman. So you can beat at the Strawman. So we'll do our trap-filled event with some other random players. And then we will come back and do one other event here. We are loading up. Let's see what's going on here. Boy, that looks very strange. Okay, let's skip that initial animation, which seems quite buggy. All right, it didn't like that I was away for a second. All right. So there's a whole bunch of drow in this particular adventure. And the idea is that we take them down. They will sometimes drop sort of funny things out, although they might have taken some of them out with the change to the event. But we're supposed to make it through all these different traps and get to the Drider. So this one's kind of fun. You know, you've got some swinging blades, and if I can skip them all, yeah, I did that pretty well. If I make it through all of them, I'll deliberately fail one at the end so that you can see what it's like. So you can admire my dexterity until I fail. All right, I'll let myself get hit by one here so you can see how it works. Oh, there you go. It tosses you onto the spikes, and that can be kind of fun.
Tumbling out of the darkness is the biggest dodecahedron.
Oh yeah, that's right. The dodecahedron rolls you over. So Chris Perkins plays the role of DM and will say things to you. Oops, I get pretty hurt by that. Let's go heal up here quickly at the campfire. Yeah, and the two gargoyles kind of make fun of you as you're getting killed. So the idea is you got to go in and like fight these bad guys, all while these giant dodecahedrons are rolling down the hallway, which I think is hilarious because the idea is that, you know, the DM is too cheap to have miniatures and stuff, so the DM's just, let's heal my ally. Did they get healed? So they're using just D20s to move them down past this event. And you can, you know, evade them by ducking down into these areas and then go back out here and run past. And eventually you make it to the end like we just did. You fight off a last group and then you get ready to fight the Drider. And the Drider is actually, I think Chris Perkins must have devised this because it's very Chris Perkins-y kind of Perkinsian, as we like to say, level of thinking. You initially go in there and you can't defeat the Drider. In fact, if you listen to the Mastering Dungeons podcast that I'm on with my co-host Sean Merwin, he talked about the design that you're going to see here. So as a Drider emerges from the shadows, all around it you detect explosive runes carved into the floor. The Drider cautiously avoids them. That's your tip, right? So what that's supposed to be is that you can't really harm it until you make it go towards one of these runes, which maybe somebody already did. Once it hits a rune, then you can do damage. And so this is what on my Mastering Dungeons podcast, Sean and I were talking about, where you can design things around the fact that players are just want to beat on things sometimes and won't think too much about what they can or can't do. Because to make it to take more damage, it has to hit these runes. And players are loath to do anything other than just run up and beat on stuff. So ideally we would all kite it and pull it to hit one of these things. And then it would go down really, really fast. But players don't want to do that. They just want to hit things, and so they just keep hitting an almost invulnerable creature. And I've sometimes run this event to where the players just absolutely do not stop attacking this thing, even though it's invulnerable. I think because the players have changed, the characters have changed a bit. We're doing more damage, that we're sort of overcoming its resistance, but you really kind of need to make it hit at least one of the runes, if not two, normally to do that. So it's kind of fun. So we have more traps here and more drow. This time we have some like little red areas to avoid, and otherwise darts are kind of spitting out at you, and you can also stop and fight folks, but you have to be careful when you're fighting that you don't step on traps because you're not paying attention. Navigate those traps, and now we go to our last fight, which is this giant beholder tied up in chains. I always thought that this thing should have a special thing because it says don't let it get out.
Thick chains anchor a beholder to the cave floor. The beholder
tries to free itself, and the chains don't look like they'll hold it for much longer. So one time I convinced a group not to fight it so we could see. Ooh, wow, there's a lot of dead people. We tried to see, can you like actually let it free itself? You know, what would happen? And we waited a very long time, and it never freed itself. So it's just unfortunately text and not a fun Easter egg that I was hoping we could unlock. So yeah, in this case, it's just a beholder that's imprisoned, and you just beat it up to end the event. It's a little anticlimactic. I actually like the Drider part a lot better because it's just sort of funny. But maybe they felt like they had to give players something easy so as to not get them too angry.
The beholder's eyes widen with
Beholder's eyes widen with shock and awe as its life comes to a sudden, unexpected end. It spits forth expletives as it flops down onto the cave floor. When you exit the caves, Flabbergast says,
Bravo. Well done.
"Were I a betting man, I would not have expected you to survive that last challenge."
Last challenge.
So that's it. You know, we have made it through this event. We exit the Hall of Traps. And let's see, where did I... Oh, it took me all the way over here. Oh, because I was in the queue, that's right. So we'll go return to Flabbergast. Interestingly, the icon... Oh, there it is.
Flabbergast. Along with
Let's see. Yeah, we already went through that. What do I do now? Let's see what it says. Oh, it just gave me tokens of participation. So I guess that is all that I have to do this week. Oh, and now I guess I can talk to this person.
In here to refine your skills. Any completed evaluations prove you have the discipline, drive, and the need to explore all aspects.
Collect tokens to defeat dummies within the allotted time. I think you have to like... I think this is about taking down... Or what, it's just the dummies? I think I take one. Oh, and there's also this. There's tokens. But I think it's a separate... Oh, no, I can do that. Okay, so how's it do? Does it start when I grab one? Yeah, okay, so the timer is on. So I have to defeat dummies, which I did. I have to find these little dice, wherever they are. I think it's not Astronomy. Okay, so here's another die. Not over here. So we pick up dice, we defeat target dummies when we see them. There's another die. The dice might be worth different points, I'm not sure. Can't get up there. See where are more dice? Oh, there's the die. Okay, is that it? Did I do it? No, I still have to connect tokens. So that's what I gotta do. Find 3 more tokens. That is proving hard. Oh, there's one, but I think he's got it. How much time do I have? 1 minute and 25 to find 3 tokens. That's not looking good. Like a lot of other players have picked them up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see one over there. Ah, I got it first. There's one. One more in a minute. You can do it. I believe in me. Oh. Curse me in my bad jumping form. Yay. Got it. So that was the Game Mastery Challenge. So you can see this is all completely silly stuff that you can do. And there's the foot race. Complete 2 evaluation activities. That was sort of what I did before. And then the Marvelous game. So maybe we'll do the Marvelous... Well, let's see if we can get the foot race, see if this works. Because it can be fun to go through these traps if it actually works. If it decides to cue us. Sure would be handy. Like the little, it's fun to kind of see what your little miniatures are. And some of these events can give you an actual miniature companion that looks like one of these minis, and so even when you're back in the regular game, it will look like a little miniature token, which is fun. I've never gotten one, sadly. Why? This does not queue well. Okay, so the race is perhaps not working. So let's go do some quick evaluations. And then we can do the game. So we did that one before. Let's see, what is this? This is the multiple targets one. So here you go in. Oh, yeah, there's another one that's actually not punishing. So this is just really like AoE check. So you're trying to do lots of damage to lots of targets. And as you're doing more targets, then it should kind of give you damage based on that. Though I don't see the needle moving up the way it should. Sometimes these needles have been really kind of broken. Yeah, I don't think it's working. But you just sit here and do this for 30 seconds, and then it advances you to the next stage, which is really very silly. And yeah, in chat, it's awesome to hear Chris Perkins. I agree. That's one of the things I enjoy about this is sort of hearing his voice. I think it was the year that he did the live show. So Chris Perkins, who does the voices for these NPCs, is also the dungeon master for these live events, which makes it kind of even more sort of layer within layer funny. And I met him because I was as a dungeon master at an event there, and he was sort of talking about how he actually doesn't like to do the live events, and he's now stopped doing them because he gets quite some anxiety about it. So this is kind of fun. You can see this when you dodge these red zones. Someone's in there now. You can also do this event, which lets you, the idea is you try to stop the enemies from coming there. Let's see, what can I do? This is interrupt. So it should work. We'll just put a couple of sets in here and do it. So the idea is you're gonna stop this D20 from moving forward. So I'll start with a slow. It does kind of overcome whatever you do to it, so it's good to sort of space things out. So I stunned it for a bit. Then I'm gonna use my mount power, which pushes it around. Hit my slow again. So you're trying to prevent it from getting to the end. It doesn't always work, I've noticed. Sometimes it'll kind of bug. But it should work. Let's see if it does better. If I can get my push to work. Yeah, worked. Good. So I prevent it from reaching the end, so that's a success. But I think even if you fail in these things, it'll succeed and it will sort of, move you forward. So I have done 2 events successfully. I can go and turn them in to the master evaluations. Sort of fun and silly. Where is... Here he is. So I guess it's just give me some little silly things every time I do it. We'll try to queue one more time. See if it for some reason works. Maybe you have to be over here. Interesting. Now it doesn't give me the option to queue. What if it thinks I'm already queued? I don't know.
Think you're the fast.
It is probably just fucked. Let's see. I'll ask on Alliance chat. All right, let's see. I will queue for the event. So we can just do the Marvelous Game, which is one of 2 dungeons. These are quite funny. I like these a good bit. They they are pretty funny. They one of them is outdoors, and one of them is indoors. They both have sort of very funny text that they'll say, the kind of the voiceover that it'll do. So we'll see. Looks like We're queuing, excellent. The Forest of Peril. Oh, I'm going to turn the volume up. Maybe a little more.
I am a mysterious wizard, and I want to hire your band of adventurers for a quest. An elven princess has gone missing in the dark woods.
What I like about this is it's the voiceover
Who plan to use her
is as if this was a dungeon master, like really trying to make this feel really cool. You got a big giant battle map here. We're all moving in our little miniature form.
Come across a wagon master or attacked by orcs. If you
We're taking down orcs left and right. They're attacked a caravan. And then you can talk to this guy to get the quest.
The wagon master is glad for your aid, he says.
Those orcs were chasing him.
You spot a witch toiling over a boiling
The
cauldron.
voiceover
in a
got cut out by
clearing.
this other group. Oh yeah, so this is where we have to find chickens. We have to chase chickens. Because some of them are like not chickens or something like that. Chicken voiceover is really good. Once we've caught all the chickens, then we can talk to her.
As you put the last of the chickens into their
All right, so she
cages,
tells us where the
the
princess
witch
went.
says,
The elven princess stopped with the
"Went to
I
a
like the
clearing in
guy trying to do a princess
That's
voice.
a giant spider. And make ready to attack.
We search for clues at the egg.
Searching
Thing.
through the spider's webs, you find the corpse of one of the princess's guards. His body is still warm, so it is likely the princess is nearby.
So it looks like an orc general got her is the idea, which is not exactly shocking. And took her somewhere else. Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
Numerous foes wait to attack our heroes.
Here the DM runs out of miniatures, so he starts using dice, which I think is so funny.
Blue dice are orcs.
Blue dice are orcs. And when you're done, you kind of go over here and you like activate the bridge, which is just turning it. Ooh, wow. That was kind of surprising. They apparently didn't work on the damage spikes well. Someone's reviving me. Thank you very much. Just running straight into battle is a little risky. It's fair. And yet, here I'm going to go to it again. Some nice damage. This game is supposed to have scaling, which famously does not always work well. So we defeat the dice and orc miniatures. And we'll go to 2 more sets. This game has a sort of combat advantage mechanic, which is similar to the concept of flanking, and it can really hurt sometimes when a lot of creatures deal extra damage from flanking you, but it's kind of fun to get surrounded. All right, so yeah, who will stop the sacrifice here? The DM will reveal that it's too far gone.
With his dying breath, the orc priest of Grooms completes the ritual and summons forth a pit fiend.
Like the roll on a wandering monster table sound. Turns out it's pit fiend, which it is pretty much every time. So, and there's some other minor devils that show up too. So we've got to take down the pit fiend, and there are like succubi and other things that show up.
banished from our plane of existence once more. Well done, heroes.
Well, do we no longer talk to the princess? Maybe not. Used to be you would go to the treasure chest and you would talk to the princess, but I guess they turned that off. Okay. That's it. We're done. Oh, I guess it's just that you get that reward at the end. Can you customize your avatar that sits at the table? No, you cannot customize any of the things that you see sitting around because those are supposed to be NPCs, so they're just sort of static there depending on the event. Question in chat. What rule set is Neverwinter based on? It's supposed to be more like 5th edition now, but it really is a 4E game kind of through and through. Even now, you know, they'll have like different types of monsters as if it were sort of more like 4th edition design. But they do try to, I think, increasingly with the new content, they try to make it be a little more 5th edition, so 5th edition monsters rather than 4th edition monsters. But the vast majority of them are really 4th edition monsters. So you'll see things like a kobold dragon shield, kobold slinger, you know, it's the whole thing right out of 4th edition. Okay, so I think that's kind of it for today. That's pretty good. You've kind of seen the other event is a dungeon that's indoors, and we can try and see whether we randomly get into well, there's also the Rock Falls event, so we could try to see how quickly we can queue for that. This is interesting. This event actually is not supposed to be here. You know, I'm not going to join it yet. It's not supposed to be active this week. This should be active, I think, the 2nd or 3rd week, although maybe it's considered already 2nd week. I don't know. So let's see if we can get the event, which is the dungeon event. Got a 50% chance of it. And we'll go sit over here in case it magically lets us join this event, but I don't think it will. All right, come on, dungeon. Hey, it's the dungeon one. Sweet. All right, so you get to see both of them. That's kind of fun.
I am a mysterious
Evil
wizard,
monsters have taken over the dreadful
I
dungeon.
want to hire your band of adventurers for a quest. Evil monsters have
Yeah,
taken over
let's
the
see.
dreadful dungeon. Under the leadership
So I like this one a
of
lot. There's some good
creatures,
humor
they are
based on sort
raiding
of
the
classic
countryside.
adventures
This
and the concept
dungeon
behind
must
them.
be cleared out, and the monsters defeated.
So here, monsters have a
After
key,
great
so you
journey,
don't necessarily have to
our
go into
heroes
all of
enter
the rooms,
dungeon of dread.
but you know, whatever, I
Knows
don't
what
care.
perils await them.
And or actually, I think it's the room has the key. Yeah, there's a little chest that can have the key. So you know, no such thing here. So not there. So we still haven't found the key. Sometimes you just kind of go through all the rooms and finally the key's at the end. As Lil said, there used to be all kinds of fun things that would drop in this event. Little treasures and drinks and things like that, but I think they removed them from the game for whatever reason. So maybe the last room has the key. Maybe they got rid of the key. Oh, I see the key at the head. We take down these skeletons. And we go into this room. Zombies. There's a secret door, which is always fun. Let's do it, interact. And then some of the chests are mimics, which is kind of fun. So let's see if this is a mimic. Yeah, mimic. Now we get to fight the mimic, which will still drop loot. So hey, it's kind of like a chest. Just the hard way. Oh, no loot in it? Oh, that's too far. So that you can see that was the chest that we were looking for. Now that we have the iron key, we can go through here. So sometimes if you go all the way to the end, but you missed one of the early rooms, and it was in the early room, you have to go all the way back. You know. Now we go through here, and this is sort of a little miniature boss fight. Revered Florog. There's our foe. There are a couple different foes that can happen depending on how they dress up each individual dungeon. That makes it fun, gives it some variety. And I think the rooms can be slightly different too, which can be cool. So now that we've defeated this, we go down these steps, which takes us to our next level. You can see it's just literally like fun idea of like what a DM would physically do to represent it. Get that key. Now these rooms, oh, there's the gelatinous cube, classic fun. Sucks you into it, does all kinds of corrosive damage, good times. And then these rooms can have some hilarious things, like well, that's not hilarious, it's just a drive. But it can have NPCs or theoretical princesses that you rescue. And one of my favorite is there's a man-at-arms, which is a sort of joke from the original Dungeons and Dragons box set, the very first box set, where that was actually a playable character class. And when you work with them, they sometimes turn on you, and it'll say "Curse your inevitable betrayal" as they reveal that they're for Team Evil. Let's see if they're here. No zombies. I don't want to fight zombies. So we'll just go with the rest of our party. They're leaving us behind. Oh, we need a mithril and adamantine key. Oh, there we go. Good. So now we fight the Drider Prince to end the event. Spawn some different creatures. Nothing too particular I've seen here. And that's it. We have defeated the Great Bad and made it out of the dungeon. So before we leave, you can see the DM screen. That's always very fun. Neverwinter DM screen. They should make that screen sometime. And then the various players. In this case, the players are Neverwinter characters. So in the other table, we saw the Companions of the Hall. So here, these folks are the heroes of Neverwinter that appear throughout the different adventures in the game. Yeah, so there's some fun different events here that can happen. There can be a princess that turns into succubus. There can be a number of different sort of tricks. So we'll see if this works. If this doesn't work, then I think we've pretty much done everything that there is to offer. That you have. The trap race is kind of fun. We'll see if it happens. If not, we'll bid adieu. It's a fine event. I think that it'd be nice if they could change it up from time to time and add some different events. But and there have been some years, like for example, those two dungeon or little queues that we just did really quickly, the outdoors and indoor Day of the Dungeon Master events. Those were the very, very original ones. And then this whole area was added afterwards. And then I think in a different year they added additional events to where there are now, I think, 4 different courses that you go through. Like that first trap area that we went through and fought the Drider that's hard to defeat and the Beholder at the end. So there are a couple others. There's one that's Abyssal that for some reason is available now, and another one with gnomes. The gnome one's really fun, so I'll have to do a video on that one when it opens up. This really looks like it's not working. Too bad. Let's turn in my evaluation. Okay. It's fun. Get random events. And that's it. So that's the Day of the Dungeon Master. I hope that you have enjoyed the game as much as I do the silliness of Flabbergast and Mr. Snibbly and Walter and all of the different Acquisitions Incorporated characters and the fun the designers come up with. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this or enjoy my work, you can check out these 2 adventures through my blog. You can click on the support me option. You'll find out how to get these for free. You can get both of them for free by supporting me on Patreon or Ko-fi. And you can also purchase them from Drive-Thru RPG. And then I have additional work that's on the DM's Guild. that may interest you as well. If you enjoyed this stream, you can take a look at all my other streams on YouTube, where I keep all of them after they're done. And yeah, let me know what areas of Neverwinter you would like to see lore for. I always enjoy looking into the background, especially when it's sort of deep lore that goes across the history of the Forgotten Realms. I find that to be a very fascinating subject. Thank you so much. Take care.